Aren't you tired of picking up your guitar, turning on a backing track, and playing the same 4 licks that every other player already knows? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to create phrases that actually say something every time you improvise and know that the choices you're making follow the music and you're not just playing random notes in the pentatonic scale? Well, after teaching hundreds of lessons to intermediate guitarists, helping them unlock the fretboard, I can confidently say that these 4 secrets are exactly what you're missing to play like a pro. And at the very end, I'm going to give you a little 5-minute routine to really lock this into your playing. Secret number 1 is how to make great note choices. A lot of us players will turn on a track and literally just play notes in the pentatonic scale like this. But the best way to really follow the music isn't just to pick notes in the pentatonic scale. Like, we all know A minor pentatonic, right? But what we struggle with is being able to follow the music that's inside of that, because the pentatonic scale isn't music, right? It's a scale. If we play the chords in that loop, does this sound like the pentatonic scale? No, not even a little bit, right? The pentatonic scale is just a tool, and we want to know how we can use that tool and bring the music inside of it. So inside of that little chord progression here, I'm going to give you the example as it relates to this progression, but this works for every progression if you follow this same process, is just playing the chords. We have a little F major 7, and then a D minor 7. That's it, by the way. It's only those 2 chords. So what I think about when I'm trying to follow progression is, how can I utilize those notes in the chord to really emphasize the harmony of the music, and how can I make phrases that fall into the pocket of the rhythm of the track? And that kind of feels like a little bit much, I know, but the truth is that it's only really 2 things: chords, rhythm, right? So step 1 is really just to play the chords of whatever you're trying to follow. So grab your guitar real quick, and now follow me along here. We have F major 7 and D minor 7. So our F major 7 is going to be 8th fret on the A, going up 8, 10, 9, 10. And then 5th fret on the A, going up 5, 7, 5, 6. Those are only 2 chords. If you don't have them yet, pause the video, grab them, go back and get them. I want you to be able to play those chords with me. And then what you're going to want to do is play the notes individually. So you might be thinking, Braden, not all of those notes fit into our little pentatonic box here. And if you were thinking that, good job. That's very true. We want to figure out how they can. Our D minor 7 is pretty tight into that pentatonic scale. The only note we're really adding is this 6th fret on the B string. I think that's okay. I think we can just keep in mind we have the pentatonic scale, and then we can add that note in. But our F major 7, this shape is not even close. Like our box is down here, right? This chord's up here, but we want to know, how can we play it there? Well, there's another way we can play this chord where it more fits into the pentatonic scale. So this voicing is going to be that same root note. We got the 8th fret on the A, but now going up, it's 8, 7, 5, 5. So now we have almost like an A minor triad on top of an F, which is really convenient because we're in A minor pentatonic. So now we know we can kind of highlight that 5th fret on the G and the B, that 7th fret on the D, and go up to that 8th fret on the A, and that's our chord. So as I'm playing over it, if I'm really just thinking about the chord, it would look a little something like this. And the thing about improvising and music in general is that there are no real rules. So while we have this home base of chords to fall onto, it's not like these are the only notes you can play. And it's not even like the notes in your scale are the only notes you can play. Those are just your home row to come back to. One of the best things you can do when you're playing is actually play the wrong notes and then just land back on the right notes. And those are some of the most creative ideas that you'll ever find, is just absolutely waffling and then landing back on the chords. And that could look something like this. Now, secret 2 is going to be actually cleaning up your playing. No matter how intelligent your ideas are or how much you're trying to flow on the instrument, if your playing is sloppy, right, it doesn't matter. It's going to sound like shit. And this is something a lot of us players struggle with, is actually how to make our playing sound clean. Because we know that most of the sound, most of the tone comes from our fingers. It doesn't matter how good your gear is, how good your guitar is, how good your pedals are. If you can't play the damn guitar, it's going to sound like shit. And the way we really lock this in is we want to get the two ends of our playing right. We want to get our fretting right, and we want to get our picking right. Both of them are very easy to get wrong, and in very slight ways that make a huge difference. So let's start with our fretting hand. We want to be fretting the notes efficiently. It's very easy to not really think about this at all and just play the fucking guitar. Like, that's what we want to do as guitar players, is just play the guitar. But the thing is that a slight shift here can make a huge difference. And what I mean by that is, a lot of us will just play anywhere between the frets, right? Like, and that's all that matters. And when I'm saying that, you might be like, yeah, right? Like, yeah, I play between the frets. Isn't that the point? But the way you can make a slight change that makes a huge difference is always playing as close to the fret like this as you can. So instead of being back here, where it might sound dead, I'm going to have that same pressure and just move up. Boom, clean. Dead, clean. There's no pressure difference here. It's just, I'm just close to the fret. And if you go back and watch any of that playing, I can assure you, even though I wasn't thinking about it that hard, I'm probably pretty close up to those frets. So you really want to start thinking about that, being right up close to the frets, because it's going to make it so much easier to be clean in your playing than if you're just playing anywhere between the frets. Now let's bring it back over to our picking hand. Just like our fretting hand, this is one of those things where very small changes can make a huge difference. Because a lot of us players will go into pick and we're kind of just, we don't think about it that hard, right? I just want to play the guitar. When you don't think about it that hard, you probably are holding your pick maybe like this or something. I don't know. I'm not you, bruh. Maybe like that. Maybe like that. I've seen this one before. If that's you, I'm not going to hate on it, but I do think it's silly. Well, I guess that is kind of hating on it. But I don't mean any disrespect. I just would never do that. I think that one of the best things you can do with your pick is hold it in very close to your fingers like this. So the way I hold my pick is finger out, get a little hook going. I like to put it so it's pointing straight out from my pointer fingernail. Boop. And then I just rest, or I kind of bring it in, rest my thumb on top. I'm not gripping that hard. You can see there's not that much pick sticking out. You can barely see it. If I go to pick, and I didn't move it at all. Literally, put your finger out. I want you to do this right now. And I have these little tiny little baby picks. So if you have a bigger pick, it might feel a little weird. If you want to get these, you should. Max Grip Jazz 3s. I'll link them below. You want to boop, boop. Really, give that a spin right now. Hold that really close in. It makes it so much easier to be accurate when there's less picks sticking out, because if you think about it like a leverage standpoint, right? When you have so much sticking out, the same amount of motion creates more motion of the pick. And when you're trying to be accurate, you want really only the motion from your fingers to be that motion. If you have just that little bit out, the only motion that's moving the pick is the amount your fingers move. So it's a lot harder to kind of miss or be inaccurate. It's also harder to be accurate, a little bit, by the way. But that's because you are forced then to actually be accurate. There's no like, oh, I'm going to hold it way out here and like I'll hit wherever the strings go. Right? You're almost guaranteed to like hit wrong strings or like extra strings or like, right? It's so much harder when you have all that pick sticking out like that. But when you have it tucked in, it's so much easier. I also like to plant my hands on the guitar. So right here, I'm kind of on the bridge. Depending on what guitar you're rocking, how your bridge is, that's going to be more or less comfortable. I have a pretty flat bridge. Another thing you can do is rest your fingers right on that pick guard or just above the strings if you don't have one. It's just another way to subconsciously tell your hand where the strings are. If you're planted to the guitar, then your hand has to know where the strings are. There's like not a choice, right? But the thing is that this is really only a good way to hold your pick for lead playing. Like if I'm just strumming chords, being all the way tucked in like this is kind of going to be annoying as shit. Like, I actually fucked it up there. I was like thumbing it up a little bit. So when you're doing that, you actually do want to stick it out a little bit. And something I'll do is, like we have it like here tucked in, instead of like, you know, coming all the way in just to move my pick, I will kind of just extend my hand a little like that. It kind of gets it to boop, pop out a little bit. So when I'm on that lead style of playing, I'm really, really tucked in, touching the guitar in some way. But then when I'm going to play more rhythmically, I just kind of pop my fingers out so that more of that pick sticks out. So it kind of goes from the side of my pointer finger here, tucked in, boop, to the little soft part of my pointer finger here. It's a little slide motion. Boop, boop. It might feel weird to do that at first, but give that a spin. Grab a pick, go for it. Do it with me. I mean it. And then give it a try on your guitar. Play a little lick, your little pentatonic lick. And then push it back out. So tuck it in, and then push it out. Tucked in, lead, push it out, play a chord. Tucked in, lead, push out, play a chord. Tucked in, lead, push out, play a chord. The more you can just kind of drill that a little bit and get comfortable with it, the more you're going to be able to do this fluidly and easily. And let's be honest, a YouTube video can teach you a little bit, but the best way to get better is to be around other players that are actually putting the work into growing. That's why I started a private community where I only let players in that I've been playing for over a year, and they're actually trying to get better. It's completely free, and it's linked right down below. Secret number 3 is how to actually add emotion into your playing. Now, the best way to add emotion in your playing is with dynamics, and dynamics are simply the range of how quiet to how loudly you are playing. And this is so important because it really emphasizes what you're doing. If you play everything at the same volume, it's going to get boring in like 15 seconds. Because it doesn't matter how much you switch up your note choices or anything. It's just the same, right? But if you're starting low, coming high, bringing it down, going all around, it's going to have so much more flow to it in the energy, and you're going to really be able to feel what you're playing, and whoever's listening will feel the notes much, much more. So functionally how we do this is just by changing, like I said, the volume. And most of this comes from your pick, by the way. So we have this locked in pick, how we're holding it, right? For lead playing, we're going to be pretty tight. And what I really do is, when I'm trying to be quiet, I'm just resting my fingers, like I said originally. Like pointer finger, resting my thumb. When I want to be loud, I kind of just grip a little bit harder. I'm not, death gripping my pick, just a little tighter and smack the strings a little harder. Functionally, that could look a little bit something like this. Secret 4 is how to actually build phrases. We've gone over how to follow the chords, how to be clean in our playing, and how to bring emotion into our playing, but we don't really know what to say yet, fully, right? And this is so important creating phrases, because if you can have phrases that are catchy, that people can catch, listen, hear, and relate to, and then you go back to them, you go in and out of them, it's so much more engaging to a listener. One of the best things you can do for this is kind of create a little call and response. So instead of thinking of everything you play as independent from each other, every time you play anything, think about how you can respond to it. And this is an infinite chain. You only have to play one line, and then you can respond to it forever. So say I'm playing like ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I'm going to figure out how can I actually respond to that. And maybe that would mean going up a little higher and kind of playing like the same thing. So hear that? Kind of like keeping a similar vibe, but extending it into a different spot. Or another way to respond is to go down, right? And that was kind of the same idea of just playing a similar idea, but bringing it down. Another thing you can do is kind of go up on the neck and land back on the same note, or down on the neck, land back on the same note. So you kind of have like a home lick, and then you go back. That's the same note. It's just up. You just go around and you land on that same note. It's a great way to bring a little hominess to your playing, to have phrases you can land back on, phrases that you move into different spots, and just really thinking about what you're playing as like a conversation and not just as playing guitar. And that could look a little bit something like this. So a lot of what I was doing there is just thinking about what I'm playing and then thinking about how I can extend it. Some of the things that were even kind of like a single line, like that little bend thing, I don't remember exactly what it was, honestly. I kind of only had the first little bit of that in my head, and I played that, and then I was just kind of thought of how I could keep that line going and respond to it. And that's one of the best things you can do, is kind of let yourself find the ideas as they happen. You might only have 3 notes in your head, but when you play them, the rest of the doors might open up to more opportunities for keeping that phrase going or responding to it. And just like I promised, here's a 5-minute routine that's really going to help you lock it. We're going to spend 1 minute finding the chords. This is when you pull up a backing track, figure out the chords, and then play them. We're going to spend 1 minute focusing on cleanliness. This is when you really lock in, play right up on the frets, hold your pick correctly, really just think about it actively. We're going to spend 1 minute being dynamic. I really want you to exaggerate the fuck out of the dynamics of your playing. So start really light and fucking bring it to the moon. You really want to do everything and anything in the dynamic range of playing nothing to going deaf. We're going to spend 1 minute responding to phrases. So I want you to play a lick, just make one up. It could literally be walking up the pentatonic scale, and then figure out how you can respond to that. That's going to be one of the biggest things you do for your playing, and you're going to spend 1 minute combining all of them. This is when you just turn a backing track on, make a loop, and let your mind work at playing over the chords, being clean, being dynamic, responding to your phrases. That's all you really need. Now, the thing about this 5-minute routine is it's really quick. It would be better for you to spend longer doing this. It's kind of just like a range. They don't have to be 1 minute. If you spent 5 minutes on each of those and made a 25-minute routine, you would probably progress more than 5 times faster, because your brain gets that repetition in. You get faster feedback cycles. You will get better faster. And if you're an intermediate guitarist who's tired of being stuck in the rabbit hole of watching endless YouTube videos and you want an actual plan that you know will work, then check out this video right here to see how I help players just like you unlock the fretboard. Not just playing notes in the pentatonic scale. You know a sick motherfucker wrote this video. And I don't mean the cool kind.